Hey everybody, it's Brian Parker with the Taylor Hooten Foundation coming to you guys live. Getting ready to talk with Haylie McCleney, our new All-Me Advisory Board member. She should be joining me in just a second. There she is. We'll start chatting and get to know Haylie a little bit. Thank you guys for joining us. Hey Donald. Let's see, looks like Haylie's sent a request. Let's get her in here. Should be connecting.
Yo,
What's up?
how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, living the dream, man.
That worked out well. I'm always that second of nervousness, like, is this thing gonna work? Am I gonna be able to connect? But I see you fine.
Yep.
You see me fine.
The blessing and the curse of technology. We're all good.
I know, right? Even nowadays, it's never been more true. So
No
I
doubt.
appreciate hanging out. Where are we catching you at? Where are you spending some time with us from?
So I'm currently in Chicago, Illinois. I'm actually participating in a new professional league called Athletes Unlimited, and we're about halfway through our season right now. So we have another team draft tonight, and I'll see what team I'm on for this next weekend. So pretty cool.
Nice. Did you guys have games over the holiday weekend, or did you get some time off to enjoy Chicago?
No, we were playing. No, we're in a shield. They're not calling it a bubble here. It's called a shield. So we're not allowed to go anywhere. I'm stuck in my hotel suite, which is like it's pretty nice in here, but not allowed to really go out and do anything. But yeah, we played Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So my team swept this weekend. So we're sitting in a good spot. So
a shield. I like the marketing behind that.
Yeah, I like it.
That's good. Well, I'm coming to you from my house where I've been for the past 6 months, so I'm jealous that you're somewhere else.
Man,
you know?
yeah, that's crazy.
Tough times we're living in, but
Yeah.
I'm also grateful to be 6 feet away from somebody, even if it's just on a screen.
Right, exactly. The human interaction has gotten so cool over this past.
Right, I'm forgetting how to do it a little bit. So
right.
Thanks for spending some time with us. I want to get to know you a bit and also kind of introduce you as our All-Me Advisory Board member, our newest one, which we're excited that you're a part of. So I guess I'll start by giving our viewers a little bit of background on us, because if you have some followers that may not know who the Taylor Hooten Foundation is or what we do, I'll kind of sum that up and then explain how you and I got connected. But essentially, my name is Brian Parker, so I work for the Taylor Hooten Foundation. I'm the director of education, and we educate adult influencers and young people about the dangers and realities of performance-enhancing substances, appearance and performance-enhancing substances. We do that because the Hooten family that I work with several years ago, early 2000s, lost their youngest son due to an uneducated choice of using anabolic steroids. So for the past, almost 17 years, we've gone all across the country spreading this education to everybody that we can. And a few years ago, we decided, okay, not only do we want to educate people, we also want to inspire people at the same time. So we put something together called our All-Me League, our All-Me Advisory Board, which is what you're being a part of. And we've had a lot of different professional athletes hop on board as role models to essentially show our young people that they can do anything they want to do the right way, right? They can achieve any goal they want to if they put in the hard work, and essentially telling people to achieve their goals the right way at the end of the day. So it's been really cool to see how many people have come on board with this, and also really cool that you are the newest member to be a part of that board. So thank you for stepping up as a role model. It means a lot, especially as for young females to look up to you and see that, look, you made it to the top of your sport and you reached your goal, but you did it the right way the whole time. So it's a really cool thing. So I guess I'll kick this off by asking you, why was that something that was important to you? Why did you want to step up and be a role model? What does all mean to you when you hear that term?
Yeah, I think it's important, especially for female youth athletes right now. I think we live in a society that is just all about the quick fix instead of, really just putting your head down and going to work and kind of doing things behind the scenes, not necessarily doing it for clout. Like, you're just doing it to improve yourself every day, to try to get a little bit better every day, to try to leave this world a little bit better than you found it. So that's the overarching theme of my life. And I think those values that I kind of have aligned with the goals and the education process that you guys really prioritize. And getting it to female athletes, I think, is super, super important because we naturally, as females, just want to please people, and we want to make sure that we're performing to the standard, but we also want to make sure that we're doing it the right way. Like there is no quick fix for doing just the right thing the right way all the time. So I'm really, really excited to be on board with you guys. I mean, it's one of the coolest things I think I have ever been a part of, and I'm excited to give back to young female athletes.
Yeah, it means a lot, like I mentioned before, to have females on board because one of the things that people don't realize is that one of the fastest growing user groups of anabolic steroids themselves are young females, right? And a lot of that is for performance that we're talking about. A lot of that is due to body image pressures that I think they face just growing up, social media and magazines and TV and stuff like that. And so if we're not educating them and inspiring them, then yeah, they're going to look for those shortcuts. And as you and I both know, that never pays off in the long run. So appreciate those kind words. And if you guys want to learn more about Haylie and all the other members of the All Me League, you guys can go to allmeleague.com. You'll see all the professional athletes all across all different sports that stepped up to be role models. So thank you for doing that. Since I got you, you guys may think that Haylie and I know each other. This is actually the first time that we've met. Haylie
first
just
time.
got on here, so I'm going to do this as much for me as I am for the people tuning in, just to learn a little bit more about you. I've kind of looked through your career a bit, which is really impressive, and I want to ask you a few questions if we got a little bit of time. Just kind of learn where you got to today. So I guess I'll go back to the beginning. You guys know Haylie is one of the best pro softball players on the planet. When did softball become the thing? Was that always your sport from the get-go? Did you start super young with that?
No. I wanted to play basketball when I was younger. I played basketball all the way through my senior year of high school. So I would say probably around like 8th grade, 9th grade, I realized that I was going to stop growing. I'm only 5'4", so
Fair.
Basketball really wasn't in the cards for me, honestly. And I always had this dream of I wanted to go to Tennessee and play for Pat Summitt. And that didn't work out at all. Again, stopped growing. So I got a little bit better at softball. I got involved with some really good travel ball organizations and started to develop that way. And then once the recruiting process started, like as soon as Alabama came in the mix, I was like, this is the place that I need to be. So I committed to go there my sophomore year of high school, and still play basketball like all the way through. Basketball, I think, still is my first love, but right around 14, 15, I kind of started to realize like softball is probably my future. Never really thought that I would make it past college, honestly. That's one of the things with professional women's sports, right, is most of the time the college stage is the biggest that we're going to get.
Not as many opportunities.
Right, exactly. And I never had a dream of making an Olympic roster. I never, I watched the 2008 Olympic team a little bit, and I was just like, oh, that would be like cool, but like that's not going to happen for me. So it's funny because people ask me like, oh, did you have this dream like all along? I'm like, no, like I was just kind of doing my thing every day, getting a little bit better every day, and this is the path that led me to it. Like I'm a firm believer in like the journey is way more important than the destination. And that's what I was focused on my entire life, my entire career. And it's still what I'm focused on now. It's just trying to get a little bit better every day.
Yeah. Well, I would say looking back at your history, I think your journey, at least your softball journey, really started to ramp up at Alabama. And we're talking one of my languages, we're talking SEC sports. So one of the things that you and I have in common, we both grew up in the South, right? So you grew up in Alabama. I grew up in a town you probably heard of called Athens, Georgia. All right. So, go Dogs, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that to you.
That's all right.
But, so if you went to Alabama and you grew up in Alabama, you probably had some other schools calling you to play at the collegiate level. Did you just go to Alabama because you wanted to stay close to home? Was that the main reason you went there?
Yeah, that was one of the main reasons. There were a couple. My family was obviously being close. So I only grew up about an hour away from campus, and I have two little brothers that both play baseball. Walker actually just graduated from Alabama. He was on the baseball team there for 4 years, and then my baby brother Garrison is getting ready to go play college ball. So I didn't want to miss them growing up. I'm 3.5 years older than Walker. I'm 7 years older than Garrison. So I didn't want to miss out on really anything
Sure.
And then family's a big priority in my life. And once I stepped on campus at Alabama, I knew that I was going to have a second family. And that's still true to this day. One of the hallmarks, I think, of any program, if you're getting recruited, is how many alumni are coming back. Like how many people truly enjoyed their 4-year experience.
Right.
What's their transfer rate? What's their graduation rate? And Alabama's was perfect. There were people that I didn't even play with that I still talk to all the time that
Right.
just played at Alabama. It's a family. Once you're in it, and it's an unconditional type of love. And I knew that I was going to leave, regardless of where I went and played college ball. I knew I was going to leave a better player, but I knew at Alabama I was going to leave a better person. And that's kind of what made the difference for me. It was way bigger than softball.
Sure, transcends just the sport.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure.
So, all right. Well, if family's the reason, I'm gonna give you a pass on not being a Bulldog and
Yeah, we'll give it a pass.
instead.
Georgia did come calling. I'll give it to them. They came calling.
I'm sure. Well, I think you made the right choice. I was looking through
Yes.
your college career. To say it was successful, I'd probably say that word is an understatement. I mean, I started reading through 4-time All-American, right? 3-time finalist player of the year, all-time Alabama leader in batting average, OBP, walks. I mean, we could probably do a whole other IG Live and just talk about the stats, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the things we're talking about is achieving your goals the right way. You look back on those 4 years, what do you think was kind of the key to that success for you? Was it nutrition? Was it just a mindset? Was it a workout routine? Was it a little bit of everything? I mean, can you kind of key in what has made you so successful in that sport?
Yeah, in college mainly, I think it was the sense of never being satisfied. Like I have this thing in me where I'm just never complacent. And I think that's a difficult thing to deal with more so now than it probably was when I was in school. Like social media was a thing when I was in college, but it's nowhere near as big as it is now. So I think what was the biggest kind of lifesaver for me is I wasn't trying to get better so I got like more likes or more followers or more clout or more TikTok views or whatever. I was like literally just trying to be the best version of myself, and that was preached from the top down at our program. So I think that was the main thing is like I don't want to just be good. I want to be great. I want to be elite. And I want to make the people around me want that for themselves too. Because if I'm working my tail off to get better, it's no good if it's just me. Like I need to make everyone else around me better. So that's where my focus really was. And I think that's what helped me because I improved something, every year, whether that was me focusing on, shifting from a slapper mentality my freshman year to more of a power role my sophomore and junior year, to more of a really true leadership role my senior year. There are things that I was adjusting all of the time. I was trying to stay ahead of what my potential scouting report would be. And it ended up working out. And I had people pouring into me, like just wanting me to be successful, and that motivated me to make people below me a little bit better. So it was just like a full flow of just motivation, leadership, becoming a better human being. I'm a firm believer, like if you're a better human being, you're going to be a better softball player because you're going to be happier.
Yeah, it sounds like for you, people always say sports is majority mental. It sounds like was kind of where you succeeded, right? It was up here, right? It was a mindset, not necessarily.
Absolutely.
You had the physical tools, and I know you worked hard, but
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't right up here, it wasn't going to work out for you. So I think that's something we always tell young athletes. It's like, look, physical tools are one thing, but up here is what can really lead to success. So I think,
Absolutely. I mean, physical tools they're only going to get you so far.
Right.
You have to, if you want to be like truly elite, like you need to get that mindset right. Like you need to be in a constant state of improvement, a constant state of wanting to be better. And again, not just for yourself. It's not selfish ambition. It's you wanting to be the person that makes everyone around them better.
Sure. Yeah, well, it worked, right? I mean, I told you, and then even we were talking earlier about lack of pro opportunities. I mean, that worked out for you too, right? I mean, I was looking even after school. I mean, you won gold medals at World Championships and Pan American Games and World Cups, and you've been on the Olympic team for a while. Any of those accomplishments stand out to you? Any of those gold medals stick in your mind, or anything you did in college that's like, oh man, that I always look back at that. I remember that the most. Or does it all start to run together after a while?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few moments. I think so in college. and it's funny because these things I'm about to tell you, I wasn't even involved with like the play on the game. So,
Right.
um,
It means you had a better view because you're looking at it.
exactly. So, which I think it just speaks to the importance of like true team play and how much joy you get out of that. So, in college, we were playing in super regionals. It was my junior year, 2015, and we were hosting Oklahoma, who is a powerhouse program when it comes to collegiate softball. I mean, they're absolutely ridiculously crazy stacked every single year. We were hosting them for supers. We had split the first two games, so it's best of three series. Rubber match decided who was going to go to the Women's College World Series. And we had a girl on our team, Marissa Runyon, and she was 0 for 14 in the first two games. Like, she looked, I love her so much. She looked awful.
Right.
Like, she couldn't figure it out. Like, we've all been in spots like that, right? Like, and she was our RBI leader that year. She was our home run leader that year. Like, she was it, and she was struggling. She was in it. We were down in game 3, and we get to the 6th inning. We managed to get 3 seniors on base. I think it was 2 walks and a hit by pitch. So the bases are loaded with 3 seniors. Marissa Runyon comes up. She swings at the first pitch. She hits it. I've never been more sure a ball is crushed in my entire life. She hits it, goes out of the park, into right field, into the Brickyard out at Rhodes Stadium at Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And our stadium, I swear an earthquake happened. I mean, it was the coolest moment I was a part of in college, hands down. We won the game. She also caught the last out when we went back out on defense for the top of the 7th. And I mean, it was what a perfect moment for her,
Yeah.
and for all of us. Like, and that was the best moment of my career. No shadow, like no doubt, like
Right.
100% was it. And then the 2018 World Championships with Team USA, we're playing Japan in Japan, and we had gone back and forth with them the whole tournament. We had beaten them in the game to get to the gold medal game on a walk-off hit. And then we had gone back and forth in the gold medal game. They would score, we would score. We would switch pitchers, they would switch pitchers. I mean, it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm on deck. Teammate Kelsey Stewart is up to bat. The winning run is on third base. There's 2 out. She's got 2 strikes on her. Like, she's having one heck of an at-bat. She's fouling off pitches. I mean, doing the whole freaking thing. And lo and behold, I mean, she hits a pitch, like, no way it's a strike. Like, it's in the other batter's box, but she shoots a rocket down the left field line. Ball game over. We win the world championship against Japan, in Japan. We dogpiled. I still have a scar on my leg from getting a spike from one of my teammates, like, in the leg. But there was like, in both of those moments, there was like a certainty, a belief, like a common unified belief that we were going to win no matter what. Everyone knew it. We were just waiting on it to happen. And I think those are the most beautiful moments in sports.
Yeah, and I think that also falls back on kind of you as a leader and a teammate, where I ask you a question like some of your favorite accomplishments, and you tell me about what your teammates have done. I think that says everything about you as a leader and looking up to you and a role model. It's great to hear that kind of answer, and I'm sure those things will always stick with you. Those are great stories.
Yeah, those are the moments. Those are the moments you live for.
Right. One of the other moments that you were living for that changed this year because of everything that's going on is the Olympics, right? Let's talk about that for just a second, because you've been on Team USA since 2013, I think. And softball as a sport, better than I do, has a bit of a recent rocky history with Olympics, right? So 2008 was the last year was part of the Olympic Games, right. And then 2020 in Japan was when it was coming back. Right. So you had 12 years for everybody to work and lead up to this, and you're waiting for it for over a decade. And then you're told, oh, it's not happening. Was that tough? How was that transition for people that have been preparing for some of you, like your whole career, you've kind of been leading up to this. How has that been playing, having to wait a little bit longer?
Yeah. I mean, I to be honest, I think we were in a better spot as a softball community than a lot of other sports were, because, we had been out of the Olympics for 12 years, like you said. So we had waited 12 years. What's 13? Whereas, you know, you have swimmers, you have track and field athletes that are like, every 4 years, this is what I do. Every 4 years, this is what I do. Us, like, we've been adaptable the whole time. So I obviously it was disappointing. I mean, you have life plans that, you know, you want to get settled and, you know, you want to settle down and buy a house and, you know, get married and have kids. And you want to do all these things after the Olympics, right? That's your plan. So you just kind of have to delay everything in your life for a year. But I think for us, we've kind of used it as a really good opportunity to bond as a team, like doing Zoom calls and developing deeper relationships that, you know, go way beyond the surface of just playing ball together. So I think that we've used our time wisely.
Yeah.
Which I think is a big part of COVID-19 in and of itself. Like, you have a choice of whether you can make this a live time or dead time, and I think we've done our best to make it a live time, even though we haven't been physically together. We've managed to make it work with the hand that we've been dealt.
Does the physical preparation change? I mean, because I know you're not always playing and there's breaks built in, or do you just kind of let's keep playing, everything stay the same, we keep our workouts the same, we just push it all back here, keep doing what we're doing? Or does the physical approach and the mental approach have to change while we're going through this?
I think it's got to change a little bit because, I mean, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to play in the Olympics next week and then have that same mentality for a year. I mean, it's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of training on our own with the national team. So because of, again, like, just lack of funding or whatever for women's professional sports and international sports in general, we're on our own. What we've been used to the past 5, 6, 7 years is being on our own for 9 months, being together for 3 months, and really just being off and on for like 2-week periods at a time. So we're used to holding ourselves accountable individually to training on our own. So again, this really wasn't anything new to us.
Right.
And it just gives us extra time to build deeper relationships, which is what's going to help us when we eventually get back together.
Right. Well, and one of the other advantages that you have with staying prepared, which I think is another impressive accomplishment on your list, is that you're a certified strength and conditioning specialist as well, right? Through the National Strength Coach Association. So you have some pretty good broad knowledge on how to stay physically prepared for that. How did that come about? Was that always an interest? When did you start going down that path to get that accomplishment as well?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to get into strength and conditioning when I was in high school. I had a really good high school strength and conditioning coach. So shout out to Rickman if you're watching. But for whatever reason, like, I just knew I was a scrawny kid, like really small, always fast. But I was never really like strong or, you know, just like a presence. And I wanted to be a presence, and the weight room gave that to me. And I developed a love for it, you know, sophomore, junior, senior year of high school. And really, really loved it when I got into college. I mean, I put on 20, 25 pounds when I was, you know, a freshman, sophomore, and it completely changed my game. I didn't lose any speed. I didn't feel any worse about myself. I felt stronger. I felt more secure. I felt really just way more confident in who I was as a player and who I was as a person, because I was doing the work behind the scenes that no one really sees. And that's what's in the weight room. And when I want to give that experience to so many kids, because it's, yes, you're working and yes, you were getting better, but it's also an empowering experience because you're finding it within yourself to want to get better. Like, that's what the weight room does. And I love empowering, especially female athletes in that way, because there's such a stereotype of, oh, I don't want my thighs to be too thick, or I don't want my arms to look like too masculine or whatever. It's like, no, like, strong is beautiful. Like, strong is where you need to be. Strong is confidence. Like, that's where we need to get to.
And you be you, right? It's
exactly.
You don't have to conform to what society tells you to be.
Exactly.
You do what you do. And I think what's even more impressive that you did all that and you got into it is that you did it the right way, right? You didn't put on 20 pounds of muscle through shortcuts, right? You did it because you worked hard, and it was all you, all me the whole time. And I think that all, embodies why we're having this conversation and the point of what we do and the work that we'll do together moving forward. So, again, for those of you that are just tuning on to learn more about the All Me League that Haylie's a part of now, you go to allmeleague.com. If you want to learn more about the foundation, you can go to taylorhooton.org. You can follow us on social media as well. There's always content on there. So thanks again for for all the information and backstory you've given us. I know you got a few more minutes before you go. If anybody's got any questions that they want to shoot to us, feel free to throw them in the chat. I had a few sent to me before that I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
I won't keep you much longer for a couple more minutes though.
No, you're good.
For those softball players, we kind of touched on this preparation through this time. Let's say we have some softball players that are at home that, you know, maybe sports haven't started at their school. You know, maybe they're not playing right now. Any advice, any tips or exercises you can kind of tell them to stay on top of their game and mentally stay in it?
Yeah, I would just say, like, try to move your body for at least 30 minutes every day. Like, go outside, get some fresh air. One of the things that I think COVID has taught us is, like, the mental aspect of it is really more important than the physical aspect in so many senses. Like, yes, do body weight squats, do body weight push-ups, like, move your body, sweat a little bit, but make sure you're not just aimlessly scrolling on your phone for 2.5 hours a day on TikTok or Instagram or whatever your social media, you know, guilty pleasure is. Like, read a book, listen to a podcast, like, look at YouTube videos on how you can improve and be better. It's really about, like, what you're consuming right now. And I think we have to pay attention to that to make sure we're in a good headspace once we come out of it.
Yeah, it's not just staying active physically, it's staying active mentally too, right?
Right.
It's not checking out. You can make yourself better in both ways. So make sure we're doing that to some level every day just to stay in it. I'm with you there. On a good question I had on the nutrition side of things. We haven't talked about that too much, but, like, you know, I know the world of travel baseball and travel softball. I mean, sometimes you've got tournaments where we've got young people playing 4 or 5 games over a couple of days. Like, let's say we got those situations, right? I mean, physically that's one thing, but nutrition and fueling wise, any recommendations, like anything that you've done before that have worked on the fueling side of things that you'd pass along?
Yeah, I would just say hydration is going to be the most important thing. I mean, you need to make sure that you're drinking at least half of your body weight in ounces per day at minimum. So, for example, for me, I weigh about 150 pounds, so I'm going to need, like, about 75 ounces of water minimum every single day. Hydration is an absolute key. Water, zero sugar Gatorade, like anything like that to help, you know, with the hydration and the electrolytes and all that fun stuff, I think is super important, especially in the summer when things are super hot, super humid. And then food-wise, like, just eat whole foods. Like, don't eat things with an ingredients list. You know what I mean? Like, have some avocados, some bananas, some apples, some peanut butter. You know, like, just eat real, like, foods. Like, McDonald's doesn't count. Like, you don't need fast food that's gonna make you feel worse. Pick foods that you know are gonna be light and help you.
Right?
Exactly. Like, you need to treat your body like a Ferrari. Like, you wouldn't put regular gas in a Ferrari. So, like,
we always say that with, like, I always tell that to young people about supplements too, right? Because they all take it, which is fine. It's great, but, like, can you turn the label around and tell me what all that stuff is? Because by the time you get to, like, ingredient 20, if you don't know what it is, I don't know. Maybe let's take 100% whey protein or something, right?
Right. And always go food first before supplements. Like, supplements, again, it's just another form of quick fix. Like, yes, they are necessary in some cases, but for the most part, it's a business. So, yeah, like, get what you need from food. Like, you can find it.
Food is fuel. Food is the answer, right?
It is. Yes.
It sounds simple. It's not always easy, but it's
It's
there.
not. I have cravings for terrible food every day.
I mean, you wouldn't be human if you didn't.
Right.
All right, a couple more. Do you have a game day ritual? Anything you do every game day, or you just go with the flow?
No, I definitely have a routine. I don't like to be late or rushed. So I'm always there, like, very early. But it starts in the morning. I usually wake up, like, relatively early. I don't like, on a game day, I don't like sleeping in past, like, 8 a.m., like, at the latest. So I'll get up, I'll make a pot of coffee. I'm a coffee addict. That's one thing everyone should know about me. I'm a coffee addict. I'll make a pot of coffee, and then I always take myself through some form of prayer and meditation. So I have a meditation app called Headspace, which is absolutely incredible, just to really center me and keep me present. And then I read, you know, either a passage of scripture or just one scripture a day. Think about it, meditate on it, like, let it set in. It really sets the tone for my day and turns my attention away from me and onto other people, which I feel like helps me thrive in competitive situations.
Right. Yeah, those are, again, all tips that can be implemented by the people tuning in, and
Right.
every ritual will be different. Find what works for you, but again, that probably goes back to that mental aspect of you and what success is. You,
Yes.
you get your mind right, and it comes out on the field.
Yes.
All right, last one, because I saw it scroll through. I want to make sure we get to it. What was your favorite team to face, and then what was your least favorite team to face? Maybe we can stick with college if that's the best fit.
Yeah.
But that may be a tough question. But I saw it roll through, so I want to give them their shout out.
Yeah, that is tough. I would say favorite team to play against was probably Auburn. Um, just because that rivalry is like absolutely insane. You could
Yeah,
probably throw Florida in there too with that. Alabama and Florida always had like a really respectful and classy rivalry, if you even want to call it that, to be honest, in softball. And I have a lot of girls that played at Florida that are now teammates with me on the national team too. So that was always a really fun series. Least favorite team to play against. Um, oof, we can go so many ways with this. I would probably say Oklahoma because we always matched up with them in the postseason somewhere along the way.
right.
They're just such a difficult team to beat. I mean, such a great program, powerhouse program. We had their number a few times, which was cool and fun to be a part of. But you know when you're in those games, like it's going to be an absolute like just try to duke it out, claw it out, fight as hard as you can, and yeah,
Yeah.
those were tough.
I thought you were going to bring this whole conversation full circle and say the Georgia Bulldogs had your number every time, but I guess you didn't want to lie
No,
with this one.
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Well, that's all. Well, I know it's about all the time you had. I know you're staying busy up there and still playing and practicing all that stuff. So we appreciate the time. Thank you for hanging out with us and getting to know us a little bit and letting our followers get to know you as well. And most of all, thanks for being that role model, being a part of the All Me League. It means a lot for people to have you as a role model and look up to. So we look forward to continue our relationship along the way. And again, if you guys want to learn more about Haylie and everything we're involved with, head to allmeleague.com.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
All right, Haylie, have a good one.
You too.
Yeah.
See ya.